and our guest today has a surprising way to be more truly you in 2020.
Author and therapist Amber Trueblood is here with her new book. It's called Stretch Marks. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate that. Okay, so there's a chapter on kintsugi.
Yeah.
Kintsugi yourself. What does that mean exactly?
So I took it as it's basically a word that I use to remind myself to kind of let go of the self-judgment and the doubt and the shame that we often carry with us throughout our days.
So we're looking at this,
Yes.
right? So explain that.
So this is a Japanese art form where they take pottery that's been broken or chipped and they infuse the glue with gold powder. And so the result of this is that you have a piece of pottery that's then rendered more valuable and more beautiful than it was before.
Right.
So this metaphor is that for ourselves, instead of spending a lot of time and energy hiding our
Right.
weaknesses and our faults and our flaws,
Right.
let's own them, and we become more beautiful and more real as a result, because nobody's perfect, right?
So Mark doesn't realize, but he has been kintsugiing himself
Okay,
for a long time,
I guess so.
right?
it's effective.
The scar on his head.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
wants him to cover it.
And
Own it.
I embrace it.
Yes.
I embrace
Because
it. That's a good point.
It means something.
Yeah.
Like you remember what happened. And
So this is kintsugi?
There you go.
Okay.
Yes. Well, you're owning it. You become more interesting, right? As a result. Well,
you can
You
talk
get
about
carried away now. Yeah. Okay, so what do you say to people who might say that embracing weaknesses is like giving up?
yes. Well, and that's a key point in my book that I talk about. It's just the very first step is own it. Let's spend less energy focusing on hiding the past and more energy than we can spend moving forward and looking at our strengths and our passions. So it's not an excuse to dwell and sit in those weaknesses and relent about them, but to move forward, to take that and say, yes, I own it. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Let's move forward.
I did it with my nose when I was in high school. My friend and I, we had big noses, so people would make fun of us, and we were like, well, we can embrace this.
Yeah.
You just beat them to the punch. You say, what are you gonna make fun of my big nose?
Right.
And they got nothing.
Yes. And that brings you to the parenting perspective.
Yeah.
Right, because I was just
You
going to ask
can
you about
model
that.
that.
It's so important with kids in this age of social media.
Yeah.
Everybody is photoshopping everything.
Yes.
You really have to talk to your kids about this.
Exactly. So if you model this type of behavior and you say, look, these are things that I own. I'm not perfect in this way. I might be still working on them. I'm not saying, oh, I'm really a grouchy person, so I'm just going to own that and always be grouchy. No, this is not an excuse for poor behavior.
Right.
It's an excuse to say, look, I'm not going to spend energy hiding that. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to admit it and admit to myself, like, maybe I'm late all the time. I don't want to be late anymore. I want to be on time and show that respect to people, but I'm not going to worry about hiding and pretending I'm something I'm not.
So I don't want to call her out. We follow the Kardashians. So Khloe Kardashian has admitted to photoshopping. She says that she uses the apps but she's open about it.
Right.
So can you talk to that? I think that's a good thing. At least she's open and honest. Say, this is what I do because it makes me feel okay.
Sure. Not only that, but doesn't it make her more likable? And it makes her more authentic, because you think, okay, because she's kind of not fooling anybody, and she's admitting that. Look, I'm not trying to fool anybody. Like,
I just
this is
wanna look
something I
good.
do.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
makes me
right,
feel
yeah.
good, and let's all just bring it out on the table and talk about it freely.
So you talk a little bit in the book about setting goals, that's really, really important to put the parameters around it.
Yeah, I mean, you mean in relation to kintsugi? I mean, I think that it's twofold. I think being truly you is something that I always come back to. So if you set goals that are related to your values, like what's important to you is different than what's important to you. So if you really identify, okay, my priorities right now are health and family and career, my values are creativity, integrity, and honesty, and you make sure that the goals that you set are really aligned with your own priorities and your values. And then the key thing I like to add to it is, how will reaching that particular goal affect those people that you love in your life?
Yeah, that's
right?
a really good point.
So what value will that bring to them?
What's this about?
The title, Stretch Marks.
Yes. So I have a story in the book that's about a particular stretch mark that I have. I have 4 boys, and they are, there's a picture. They have,
there they are.
There they are.
Oh,
there
they're
they
cute.
are. And my editor, when I was writing it, said, nobody ever talks about this. I think you should lead with this story, and I think it might even be your title. And, it resonates with people, and it helps them remember.
Yeah, I love it.
But it's a metaphor, basically, for how we stretch and grow, and we learn from these experiences.
And I know many moms will say, I'm not embarrassed by my stretch marks because, like, the ones right here remind me of my little girl, or remind me, They do remind you of somebody that you love. And
It's a badge of honor, so
Yeah.
to speak,
Yeah.
and it's a memory of something that you've gone through that was physically perhaps traumatic or physically, a big thing that you went through. And all of us, whether we have children or not, go through traumatic, life-changing experiences, and we grow from them, right? We expand. So hence stretch marks. We all have them, whether they're psychological or physical, and we're better as a result.
You ready for a trick question?
Yeah.
You have 4 boys.
Yes.
Who's your favorite?
Depends on the day.
Depends on the day. Okay, that's
Yeah,
a fair enough
exactly
answer.
right.
I like this though. Okay, kintsugi.
Kintsugi.
Sugi. I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I
so
hope you
much.
do.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
All right, so this book is called Stretch Marks. For more information, you can head to ambertrueblood.com. Thank you, Amber.
Thanks, Amber.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks again.
So who knew you were kintsugi?
I was kintsugi the whole time, and I didn't even know. Brought it to me.
People
Thanks.
are always
Right? Like,
You're a super mom!